What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, Noto, all the greats. Plus, you get access to this nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus where the best lines at. And most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. It's my Discord where I'm throwing in all my bets each and every day so you can get them before the lines move. Just go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. Just threw it into the chat here. I'm joined today by one of the best bettors out there, one of the best futures bettors out there, someone holding a 55-1 ticket on Russell Westbrook to win Sixth Man of the Year. That's now currently plus 140, I believe. Zachonomics, aka Zach Price. How you doing over there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, Graham. Thanks for the intro. The Russell Westbrook thing. I don't even think he's going to win. I don't even think he's going to be eligible. He could get traded and become a starter. He could just get back in the starting lineup. I think the market's just wacko on that one. So I'll hold on to my 55-1 and I'll see what's going on with Jordan Poole because I think he eventually will win it. But hey, it's always good to have value. And let's provide some value today with some NBA props.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, it's I've got NBA. I've got few NFL ones. I know you don't dabble too much in NFL anymore just because you got so much stuff going on with NBA. So we'll go through the NBA and then I'll probably quickly go through the NFL stuff. But first off, I've got quite a few bets in the Boston game. So Marcus Smart under 23.5 points, rebounds, assists. Jaylen Brown under 3.5 assists. And Jason Tatum, his assist number is sitting at 5.5. So it's always interesting in these spots where you see an uptick in assist for a guy. He's only hit this twice this entire season. Two of those times, I think, were in the last 4 or 5 games. He's averaging 8.5 or 8.1 potential assists per game on the season. He's averaging 8.5 over the last 5 games, and yet he's averaging 5 assists per game during that span. So it really doesn't add up why this number is at 5.5. I don't fully understand it. It's just the markets overreact to actual assists and not the potential assists, the expected number of assists. So you can always find great value on that. So I hammered the under on Jason Tatum under 5.5 assists.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I usually see it at 4.5, so that makes a lot of sense. I got Jokic on this one going over his PAR, his points, assists, and rebounds. It's 42.5, and I know he started slow this year, probably trying to get Porter Jr. and Murray involved, but last year he averaged like 49 PAR in an MVP-like year. And the year before, he was up around 46 or 47. This is a big game, Denver versus Boston. So I expect the Joker man to rise up and, put up in one of his typical 27, 13, and 8 games and go way over 42.5 on this one.
Yeah, no, I'm actually right there with you. I have his over on points, rebounds, assists. I have his over 11.5 rebounds at plus 100 at win, and I have his over 23.5 points. I hit everything.
Yeah.
I love this spot. Also something Horford's not going to be able to guard him. Horford's not, and then maybe they put Tatum on him, but neither one of them are going to be able to take care of him. So you're going to have Smart, Brown, and Tatum likely covering MPJ, Murray, and what's his name, Gordon. Likely be on those 3 guys. Those guys are likely to get shut down. Joker kind of becomes the odd man out here, becomes the guy that's going to have to do more on offense like he did last year. I see him just putting up an absolute monster night. I mean, in addition to that, Boston's 8th worst rebounding team in the league. So the rebounds, he could end up with 15, 16 in this spot here. I just don't see any reason why the lines are so low. I hit all of them. I also hit Aaron Gordon under 6.5 rebounds, minus 142 at FanDuel. But I love these Joker over props. Absolutely love them.
Yeah, I started by looking at the points because that's the easy one for me. Everybody kind of knows what players score what many points. And when I saw that one was over, I said, okay, let's check out his rebounds. And I saw that one I liked over. And so immediately I'm just like, well, I gotta just take his PAR because if he has a big scoring game, he'll go over it anyway. So that's kind of was my thinking as well.
Yep. And then in the Phoenix game, I got over Mikal Bridges over 14.5 points, minus 113 at FanDuel. DeAndre Ayton under 8.5 rebounds, minus 101 at Caesars. Most of the offshore loves the under on that. Most of the other sites are saying it minus 120 on the under. So it's just a clear line discrepancy. One bet I keep going to, and it keeps going terrible, is RJ Barrett under points. But I'm at it again here tonight. 21.5 is just too high of a line for him. There's with Brunson in there, there's just too many different bodies, too many guys that can score. Matchup versus Detroit, I know they're not a good defensive team, but line just seems a bit too high here at 21.5. Are you with me here?
Yeah, so I mean, he's been having a good year. He's definitely improving. So let's see, they're playing
Detroit.
against. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna have his hands full with Cunningham. That one, yeah. It's about a coin flip. I don't know. That game seems like that's an ugly game. Where were we before on that one? On the Suns game, I'm trying to look at what I had for that one. Yeah,
You
I
have
had
8 and under 1.5.
I had 8 and under assists on that one. I know you went under his other stuff. He hasn't been playing the minutes that he usually plays. He had that whole contract dispute. I know you love these small assist props too. Aiton, look, he over half the time this prop hits. I know it's minus 125, but with the less minutes they're playing Orlando, potential blowout. I just like taking 8 and under 1.5 assists anytime I get the chance.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. Offshore looks like it's slightly on it. Our projections have him at 1.18. I might end up popping on there with you. And then another bet that I always end up playing, and for some reason I always pick the wrong days. You have in this Knicks game, Julius Randle under 35.5 points, rebounds, assists. I thought about this today. It's just it's one of those I have a mental block on, because every single time I do, it ends up going terribly wrong.
Right.
I can't get it right. Like, all the numbers point towards it. Like today, it's no different. The numbers point towards it. Matchup versus Detroit, potential blowout. Randall's been hit or miss. I was just pissed the other night. I think he hit the over on his points, rebounds, assists by the hook, and I had both of them. And yeah, it's kind of ruined me lately.
Well, I'll tell you, Grant, the last 3 games with Randall, and this is what kind of triggered me to take this under, is his numbers have been fine this year. He started out a little slow, then he had a couple of those big games you mentioned. And, the last 3 games, his PAR has been 21, 25, and 22. So with the prop at 35.5, I know it's a good matchup for him. I'm just going to keep with the under and, hit on all the things you said. I'm just going to go with the odds here and hope he doesn't have one of his, 4 for 8 from behind the arc and 14 rebound games, and just stick under on this one.
Yep. I like that. Next game, we have a bet that we're against. So I'll get that, or that we're on opposite sides of, but I'll get to that in a second. OG Anunoby under 20.5 points. He's just been absolutely crushing recently, but I think he's due for some negative aggression, potential blowout. Oklahoma City is actually a solid defensive team, so I'm under the under on that. And then on the other side of you, SGA under 27.5 points, which is weird for me to say. I bet his over so much. He's won me probably close to the most money out of any player outside of Desmond Bain. I just think it's a little bit too high in this spot. It's not a great matchup. It's going to be slow paced. It's going to be low scoring. There's always the chance of a potential blowout, even though it's in OKC and there's only a 4.5 point spread. I think that this is going to be a low scoring, ugly game. And although I love SGA and I love betting his over, I'm on the under. Tell me why you're on the over.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. It's going to be a rough game. And, I know you've made more money on SGA dating back to last year than him and Bain. You're on the pulse of these young shooting guards. So SGA has been averaging 31.5 a game. And last year, like I mentioned, the final few months, he was averaging over 30 a game. So this is more of a play on his average. I think they're going to be in the game today. Like you mentioned, it's a 5-point spread or so. So if they're in the game down the stretch, he's going to be shooting a lot, I imagine. I'm going to go and just say he gets another 30-point game, SGA. It's been the right call for so long, and we'll see how this one turns out.
Yeah, I mean, there was a solid month and a half where I was blindly betting his over on points, rebounds, assists.
Yeah.
And it hit at like a 75-80% clip for a month and a half. It was just unreal. And I mean, I've been betting the over almost every single time so far this season. And looks like the line's still probably sitting at offshore is moving. A lot of the books are moving the line more towards you. So you might be on the right side of this. It was when I looked this morning, and I've also been dealing with my house flooding. So it's one I might have made by mistake. I'm not loving it, especially seeing that you're on the other side and just looking at his game log. But I still think that we might just be eating the juice here. It might be a 50-50 proposition.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Let's see. Next up, Brooke Lopez under 7.5 rebounds. I think Portis is going to get a lot without Giannis in there, and 7.5 is probably a bit too high of a number. And then we mentioned it already. Talk to me about. I think you have under 11 or 12.5 rebounds for Portis.
Yeah, Portis. Okay, so he had like a 21 rebound game the other night, which I think made the computers go wonky. His last game, it was 14.5 rebounds, meaning he had to get 15 rebounds to win the spread, the bet. He got 9. So 12.5, I still think is just too high. I know Giannis is out. I like your Lopez call because he had 14 the other night. And to be honest, Brooke Lopez is not a good rebounder at all. I've watched him for, oh my God, he's been in the league for so long, and he just does not go for rebounds. He's more of a block shot type guy. So I do like that bet. Portis is a rebound guy, but still, for him to get 13 just to win the bet, he could get in foul trouble. San Antonio could slow it down. I'm going to just go with under 12.5. I don't think he gets to 13. I think he probably gets around 9, 10, or 11.
Yeah. Brooke Lopez averaging 6.7 rebounds per game this season, but also been playing a lot more minutes. Previous seasons, he's sitting right around 5. I like that under. I almost bet the Portis under on rebounds, but just ended up staying away. Next game, we got Memphis versus Minnesota. I have a lot of bets. First of all, Bane is going nuts today. 31.5 points, rebounds, assists. He might get that in points. Mm-hmm. He's gotten that in points or close to it in points. Multiple games. He's getting boards. He's getting assists. Bane is just fantastic. Over 31.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 110. Love it. And then you got the Gobert double-double. I went a little bit more ballsy. I went both the over on his rebounds at 12.5 plus 100 at DK and the over on points 12.5 at minus 120 over at Win. I'm right there with you. I think he gets an easy double-double. He's getting a 15-15, 20-20, something like that game.
Yeah, well, he's averaging about 14 and 14. So you going over both 12.5 makes a lot of sense. The weird thing is he's kind of been like mixing it up. So he'll get like 21 rebounds and then like 8 points. And then the next game, I think his last game, he had like 25 points and maybe 9 rebounds. So he's been missing the double-double a bunch this year, which is weird for him. Last year with the Jazz, he hit about 83%. So that's 5 out of every 6 games he was getting a double-double. And I saw the odds were minus 150-ish, 160. And, that for a guy who got 5 out of 6 double-doubles last year, I know he's on a new team. He's averaging 14 and 14. I think he puts them both together tonight. I'll take minus 160 on Gobert double-double every single game he plays. And I'm sure I'll be in the green at the end of the year. So tonight I'm going for it. Tough matchup against Memphis. Should be a good game. I expect Memphis to win. I agree with you on Bane. He's been phenomenal this year. No reason to get off the Bane train.
Yeah, I wonder what the odds are. I'm going to check over here on FanDuel to go 15 plus points and 14 plus rebounds. I think could be a fun little bet, just a little add-on to you. 14 and 15, sitting at plus 306. So if you want to go a little bit more ballsy, I don't hate that at that price right there. So yeah, definitely not
about his average last year. I want to say
that's his average this year, pretty close.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let's see, D'Angelo Russell under 6.5 assists. Just too high of a number. I got it minus 139 at Caesars. It should be at 5.5. Karis LeVert and Jarrett Allen both over points, rebounds, assists. I know you're a Cavs guy, and I know you've got a Cavs bet too. So I want to get your input on that because you know the Cavs far better than I do.
Allen is, I want to say he's about a 16 and 11 guy. So right there, you're going to get it before assists. And he's been just a monster on the boards, I mean, he can go for 20 rebounds in a game. I hate taking his under. I'll put it like that. And then you mentioned LeVert. What was the number on LeVert? 22.5. Okay. Yeah. So, he's going to be asked to play a lot of minutes tonight, I think, against the Warriors with Clay and Steph in there and, guarding Wiggins. And he's kind of like our utility guy. He does it all. So I definitely wouldn't be against that one. I do like the Cavs tonight. I think they're going to beat Golden State in Golden State. And I think Donovan Mitchell is going to go over his 27.5. He's averaging 32 a game this year. He looks like an MVP. Will he win it? I don't know, but his name's got to be in the conversation. It's a big game against Curry. It seems like Donovan's like been rejuvenated in Cleveland. He just keeps getting better and better. He's still a young guy. If he's averaging 32 so far this year, I love over 27.5. So I'm rolling with Donovan tonight. He's my guy.
Yeah, I love this Cavs team. I know you do too. I love this Cavs team. Like my two favorite teams in the league right now are the Grizzlies and the Cavs. Like both of them are dramatically undervalued, and they're potentially two of the best teams. They are two of the best teams in the league. Like I wouldn't be surprised at all if either of them made it to the championship and won this year.
That would be a nightmare for Adam Silver to deal with the markets of Memphis and Cleveland in the finals versus a Celtics and, Warriors or Lakers type thing. But let's get it done, man. If the Cavs get there, I can promise you Cleveland's going to be behind them in full throttle.
Yeah. We just got a text from Dude Man Pa. Something about the Jazz. I don't know what
he's on the Jazz train this year. He's got the Jazz to win it all at about 500 to 1. I think we can all agree that probably won't hit, but the value is there because they should probably be under 100 to 1 by now. And I know he's on them to make the playoffs at around plus 230, plus 250. That I think will happen. The West is weak, and the Jazz are flying high right now. We'll see how it turns out. They have to go through the whole schedule first, and if they're still above 500, I think it's a no-brainer they'll be in the playoffs. They are not on the plate tonight, though, so we'll wait for a market in over prop maybe next week.
Yeah. Let's see. In the other bets in the Warriors game, Clay under 6.5 assists. Been pretty often on that.
That's extremely high of a prop. Is that really 6.5 assists?
Yep.
Whoa. I'm going to have to hit that under. That seems crazy to me.
Yeah. Let's see if it's moved at all so far. I'm pulling it up on our nice.
It almost seems like an error.
It's still at 6.5, minus 115 over at MGM. So that's all there. We have him projected 5.7. Looney under 7.5 rebounds. We have him projected for like 5.2 in this spot here. I did take the Curry over 28.5 points. I mean, Curry's going to shoot in this spot. He's going to shoot a lot. It should be a good game. It should be a decently high scoring game here. And I think Curry, as much as like Cleveland is good at interior defense, like obviously Mobley, Jared Allen, great defenders. On the outside, they can get into some trouble. Curry's coming off a 47-point game, 39 points before that. He's averaging 32 points per game this season, so 28.5 is just too low. Can we go back for a second, Grant? I didn't see your screen. Is that Clay's number really 6.5? I mean, that seems like it. That's Curry. Sorry. Okay. I was going to say, maybe I misheard you. I don't know if it was my bad or yours, but I know a bad number when I see one. Probably the reason I'm limited. Yeah, if it was Clay, I'd be calling every one of my friends, be like, hey, I need you to put all the money you can possibly put down on this. Okay, yeah. So Curry's 6.5. Okay, yeah, for sure. Curry over 28.5. I'm going to stamp of approval that one every single time. Yep, and then I got a few bets in this Sacramento game. So we got news 15 minutes ago, that Anthony Davis is now questionable, which makes this a nightmare. But it could be, it's still, I think, going to be, do we have a line out on this? It's still sitting at -4, I believe. I'm going to refresh here and see if the line, because I feel like it's staying at -5 now. So yep. It's still going to be a high-scoring, close game. I have the Davis over on points, 25.5. I'm sure it's off the board now. But I took the over on De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis points, rebounds, assists. Both are sitting at 35.5, both right around the same one. So I got them both over at Caesars. I like both of them to go off. You like another player to go off in this spot. Yeah, so Keegan Murray, he had a really rough stretch there. I was betting his overs, and he was in single digits on points. So the prop has gotten pretty low on him. It's 11.5. I think he's going to be averaging around 14 to 16 a game by the year's end. So I'm waiting for him to turn it around. I'm just going to keep betting the Keegan Murray over.
once if it's down in this range, and hope he turns it around. He's a rookie, and I know they want to bring him into the offense. And De'Aaron Fox, he's the man over there. But I'm just going to keep going Keegan Murray over points as long as it's in the 10 to 12.5 range. So put me down, Keegan Murray over 11.5 tonight. I think he's going to have a great rookie year. Again, little slow past few games, but I think it gives us an opportunity.
Yep, I like that. And then I'll just go through my football bets really quickly. You guys don't need to hear my analysis. Just know that I'm a genius. I went 6-0 last night on football. So Tom Brady over 284.5 passing yards going up against Seattle. He's hit this at fairly consistent clip. I've had him over 300 passing yards. Cole Kmet under 24.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at Caesars. He's in and out of this offense. They're not going to pass the ball a ton. Khalif Raymond under 36.5 receiving yards, minus 115 Caesars. Amon-Ra St. Brown. These are all up on the screen, obviously, so you guys can figure it out. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 74.5 receiving yards, minus 110 at DK. Fields under 176.5 passing yards, minus 110 at MGM. Jared Goff under passing yards, minus 115 at MGM. Lawrence under rushing yards, 20.5, minus 115 DK. Brissett under completions, minus 129 at 20.5 over at Caesars. Chubb under rushing yards. Pierce over rushing yards. Really like this one. He's just going to get the ball 30 times in the spot. 77.5, minus 110 at MGM. Barkley got close to 100 rushing yards, minus 115. Judy over 50.5 receiving yards. Moreau over 34.5 receiving yards and over 3.5 reception. Jacobs under 87.5 rushing yards, and Dak under 11.5 rushing yards. I don't know how many of those have changed already. Again, they're all in the Discord. Go join. We have running a basketball pass. I think the price is going to go up $169 for the next 6 months, essentially. You'll get all sports, and you'll get access to Excellence. So just go sign up. If not, everything's on the screen. Zach, anything else before we get on out of here?
Well, I will say that I noticed that a lot of your QB rushing unders have been hitting. And so I might be tailing that Dak and the Lawrence. And I mean, I think you had a Brady under 0.5 last week. Obviously, he didn't get a rushing attempt at all. So, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to go after those quarterback rushing unders, as long as they're not Lamar Jackson or Kyler, maybe.
Yeah, so, the ones where, that's also the thing. They're always inflated a little bit because QBs, sometimes they'll be trailing and then they'll be playing to prevent defense, and all of a sudden they'll get 50 rushing yards, or that's exaggeration. It's 30 rushing yards in the fourth quarter. Like Lawrence, if they're trailing, then we could see him run the ball 40 times. So while their average rushing yards are generally higher than the mark, their median is way under, because people just look at it Trevor Lawrence is averaging 40 rushing yards a game. Well, he had a 60, and I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass. I don't actually know what the numbers are.
Exactly. Totally exactly. Everyone listening, if you're still hanging on with us after 20 minutes, you've made it this far, then pick up on this. You want to be betting the medians, not the averages, because the averages are always going to be inflated because no one can go below 0. And so when you add up the averages, one big game is going to bring that average too high. You want to go look at all the total games, find that midpoint, and see how many times they go over or under that. So right there, case in point, quarterback rushing unders. Always check your game logs and take a look at them. I know I'm going to look up that Dak and that Lawrence after the show. And if I see that, they're usually getting around 0 a game with a couple of outliers, I'm going to hit that under. So you guys can follow me at Zachonomics on Twitter. DM me, tweet me, any prop questions in the NBA. I'll get right back to you. I also do golf, and I do some football as well. Thanks for having me on, Grant.
Yep, thanks for joining me. I'm sure you'll be back again next Friday. We're out of here. Later, kids.